So today this topic is acute inflammation. Inflammation is the basic response of all living organisms who have a circulation. So by definition, inflammation is a protective body response of mammals. Protective body response of mammals, which is characterized by 5 cardinal signs. What are those signs? Number 1 is so number 1 sign is rubor, that means it will become red. Then dollar, that means it will become painful. Then calor means the area will become hot. And then tumor means swelling, so it will become swelling. Think about a small abscess around your nail bed, so it will become red. It will become hot, it will become tender, and also there will be swelling. So that is a typical evidence of acute inflammation. So we are talking about 5, but we are giving only 4. Yes, these 4 are mentioned by Celsus. A great Greek scientist, 100 years before the birth of Christ, and then almost 2000 years passed, and then the 5th symptom is added to it, and which is known as, and that is by the father of modern pathology, which is known as Virchow or Rudolf Virchow. He is the father of modern pathology. He describes almost all the basic symptoms and signs which are producing in our body and the changes which are occurring in our body. And he added the 5th symptom after a gap of 2000 years. That is functio laesa. So that means less function. So that is an acute inflammation is a protective response of all vascularized mammal tissue and is characterized by 5 cardinal signs: rubor, calor, dolor, tumor, and functio laesa. So that is the definition of acute inflammation. Okay. Now we are getting to different components. There are 2 main components of inflammation. One is vascular, the changes in the local blood vessels and lymphatic vessels, and another is change in the cellular. There will be alteration in the movement or motility of the invading cells. So cellular events and vascular events. So what are the vascular changes? We must know in short. First, there are three phases. Whenever there will be any injury, just injure your finger with a sharp object. Do not do this. Everybody has that idea. There will be a short white line. Why this white? Why did it become white? It becomes bloodless. Because as a result of the injury, there will be immediately constriction of the arterial circulation. So that area will get less blood supply. And that is due to occurring as a result of different neural hormones and also different neural reception. So as a result of this neurogenic or symptom, and there will be some injury, so that injury impact will be carried to the brain, and so that will cause immediate local vasoconstriction, and that is the constriction of the arteries, not veins. So no blood will reach there for some time. So it will become white. So that is the any injury that will produce transient vasoconstriction. Then followed by immediate vasodilation. Again there will be ultimately that white area will be replaced by blood, and there will be continuous oozing of blood from that part. That is our experience. So immediately there will be vasodilation, and that dilation will give rise to, there will be arterial dilation as well as venodilation, and usually there will be some substances which are already formed in our body like histamine, serotonin. These will be released and they will cause vasodilation, and that will remain for a phase of seconds to minutes, maybe 45 minutes maximum up to this thing. After that, then there will be synthesis of newer compounds like arachidonic acid derivatives. We will discuss later. So they will cause prolonged vasodilation. So that area will become, that area will become red, and as a result of this, that area will become also warm, and there will be swelling. So first immediate vasoconstriction, then immediate vasodilation, and then late vasodilation. So that will be the prolonged effect. Okay. Now there will be also, this is the change in the caliber of the vasculature. So vascular changes can be differentiated into either into the caliber, and number two is permeability. So first is the change in the caliber of the blood vessels. Vascular changes. So it can be divided into two. At first there will be change in the caliber. That is vasoconstriction, early vasodilation, prolonged vasodilation. And then there will be change in the permeability of the blood vessels. Now due to some unknown mechanism or partly known mechanism, there will be increase in the permeability of the small venules, arterioles and capillaries. Now if we think about these structures, these capillaries, they are lined by a single layer of endothelial cells, and there is no gap in between the endothelial cells. There is a tight junction of the endothelial cells. Now as a result of inflammation, the different proposed mechanisms are that. Number one, there can be mechanical destruction. So this part will be destroyed. So there will be so the fluid will come out like this. Someone postulating that there will be contraction of the endothelial cells. So this will come to here and that will come to there. There will be formation of a gap. So there will be formation of an interendothelial gap. And some people are saying, no, the endothelial lining remains intact. The fluid will go through the intact endothelial cells. As a result of pressure, it will enter here, then it will come out. But the result is same. So there will be, the fluid will be leaked out from the blood vessels. So second part of the vascular chain is increase in the permeability, which will give rise to leaking of the fluid from the blood vessels. Now what type of fluid it will be? There will be increase in the gap, in which the commonest cause most probably is due to endothelial cell contraction, and there will be increase in the intraendothelial gap, and through which the fluid will come. So which type of fluid will come through here? The fluid will come that will be rich in protein and also rich in cells, and this is called a exudate. Sometimes when we read about edema, it will become much more clear. Sometimes due to some different diseases, suppose if there is any arterial hypertension, if there is any venous increase in the venous hydrostatic pressure, if there is any fall in the blood colloidal osmotic pressure, then fluid also come out into the outside. But in that case, the fluid will pass through or filter through the cells. So they will contain only the liquid part, the solid portion, the cells, the proteins, the dissolved part proteins will be less. They will be known as then transudate. But in case of an inflammatory fluid, usually the interendothelial gap is increased. So it is not only the fluid but also the cells as well as some dissolved proteins, they will come out. So that will produce an exudate. When we discuss edema, then we will give an elaborate differentiation between an exudate and a transudate. But at least how an inflammatory exudate will form, you will come to know. But still, this is not the end of vascular magic. There is still something left of vascular magic. So there is change in the caliber, there is alteration in the permeability, and now what will occur as a result of this combination? Normal blood, when it passes through our blood vessel, which is lined by endothelial cells, so that there will be no turbulence, smooth flow. Now the lighter cells, which are the lighter cells in the blood? The RBCs. And what are the heavier cells in the blood? The WBCs. So the heavier cells will be pushed towards the periphery, and the lighter cells will be present in the central part. So there will be a smooth axial blood flow. Now there is some inflammation, there is some injury. So what change will occur? There is vasoconstriction, then vasodilation. So there is more and more amount of blood is accumulating there, and that is known as stasis. And also the more and more fluid part will be coming out into here. So the blood becomes concentrated. So more amount of blood is reaching the area and it gets concentrated. So what will be the result? The flow will be slow. That is known as stasis. So the blood column will move at a slower rate at the rate of the inflamed area. So the normal axial flow will be lost. So now more and more cells will be pushed towards the lateral part, towards the out part of the blood vessels. So in the initial part, it was the central part which contains the majority of the cells. But in the latter part now, the cells will be dispersed towards the endothelium, towards the lateral part. So that is the result of stasis. Normal, turbulent, normal laminar flow of blood will be lost, and that will give rise to stasis, and there will be pushing of the cells towards the endothelial membrane. That completes the total vascular changes in inflammation. First, there will be alteration in the caliber. Second, there will be alteration in the permeability. Third, there will be alteration in the flow rate. Okay? Now we are coming into the cellular events. So we already know that as a result of stasis, the cells are pushed towards the endothelial cells. The cells, the major important cells in inflammation are the WBC, of which neutrophil, lymphocyte, monocytes, eosinophil, basophil, these are important. So they are now pushing towards the periphery, and they are going over the endothelial cells, and then they will be tightly attached with endothelial cells.